G'day, welcome to the Garden Gurus. I'm Trevor Cochran. We've got another fantastic episode for you, packed full of down-to-earth gardening advice today. Now, listen, if you want to know more about gardening in any way, this is the best way to do it, is to see the show. But if you want to share some tips and hints along the way, become a friend on Facebook at the same time. You know, this program is all about sharing ideas, but also actually getting some feedback from you too, and we'd love to hear it. Here's what's coming up on today's show. This week on the Garden Gurus, Bonnie upcycles this old fish tank into a new home for these succulents. Melissa shares how to keep your greenhouse cool during the summer months. And Nigel is adding compost to soil in a new, innovative way.
Digging around. Dig in the ground. I got my spade, I got my hoe, I got my rake, and I'm ready to go.
Terrariums have been a fascination of mine over the years, and I've slowly built up my own little collection. And they can be a really fun way to bring a little bit of greenery inside the house. So let me show you how you can create a magical miniature garden. One of the first things you're going to be needing is a container, and I'm using this old fish bowl, which is a really good option because it allows me to use a few different succulents and cacti. And one of the biggest things when you're building your terrarium is making sure you get the right layers. The first step is to use activated charcoal. Now what this does, it keeps the overall hygiene of the plants and the soil in tip-top shape, and it will help prevent any root rot. So when you're applying this to your container, you only need to add about an inch worth to the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to be adding about an inch worth of soil on top of the charcoal. Depending on the size and the depth of your container, the amount of soil you need might vary, but for something about this size, an inch is enough. So now we can get to the fun part, planting. Now that you've got your plants positioned, and if you're pretty happy with how they're looking, you can add a little bit more soil to the terrarium. That way you can cover any roots that might be exposed. Now that you're happy with the amount of soil that's in there and all the roots are nicely covered, you can take some garden pebbles or even smaller stones, and you can decorate the top of your terrarium with these, and it will really bring your little container to life. When caring for terrariums, it can become a little bit scary when we think about watering, but it's a lot easier than what you might think. With succulents, they don't require too much, so all we need to do is use a mister or a little watering can just to get the roots moist enough but not saturated. And when it comes to feeding, they don't like a lot of nitrogen, so using a slow-release fertiliser is really good, but I won't need to worry about feeding at the moment thanks to the Osmocote Professional Cacti and Succulent Mix, because it has a slow-release fertiliser already in there. Keep your terrarium in a nice warm spot where it's exposed to some natural light. And with your terrariums, you don't have to use an old fish bowl. You can use any item. You can use wine glasses or even old jars. So if you come up with some really creative ideas, we'd love to see photos, so you can send them through to our Facebook page.
I love a bit of digging, which is a good job because there's plenty of it in landscaping, but it can get a bit tedious and tiring with the shovel, especially in the heavier soils and especially at my age, which is why I avoid it when I can and use a machine. The front hoe attachment for the Kanga packs a mean punch and is perfect for digging trenches for services, drainage and footings, and holes for large trees, pits, or just general earth moving. You can get 150mm and 300mm wide buckets and dig down to about 700mm. You've got the power to dig deep, reach high, swing left and right, and reposition easily, all from the operator console, which has a complete 360-degree view. It's a beautiful thing, and it's my kind of action. The tiger teeth design here comes as a standard feature and can handle the toughest of digging conditions. These bird of paradise are a really popular plant all over Australia, and you can see why. They get these amazingly striking flowers, and they really are a great foliage plant. Just a couple of tips on this flower up here. Right, you can see there's some dead petals there. You can just pull those off rather than cut the whole flower off and still get some life out of the flower. But once they die off, And likewise with the leaves, you need to get down low and remove the old flower spikes. Now, the botanical name for this is Strelitzia reginae. Over here, we have its big brother, Strelitzia nicolai, often confused with the banana plant. But if you look closely, you can see there are no bananas on this, not edible, purely ornamental. They both come from South Africa. Now, the flowers on this one, again, are spectacular, darker, but you'll often see birds getting in there and getting onto the water and having a little cheeky drink on a hot day. Again, you keep these clean and clear of all dead foliage and dead flowers, and they are spectacular, but they can get big, so look out where you plant them. Cycads, conifers and ferns are some of the oldest plant forms on the planet. They've been around since the dinosaurs. In fact, they used to munch on these and didn't do them any harm. In fact, the problem they had was the meteorite, but that's another story. They're amazing plants, start their life off as a spore, produce leaves, and then as those leaves die off and harden, many of them form a trunk. And you can see one right there, and that takes years, decades in fact, and some of them even centuries. Now, the sort of conditions they like generally are shady, dappled light. Some will take full sun, Cyathea cooperi, but what they don't like is wind. Good situation here under the shade cloth, and they don't mind a bit of moisture. And a good tip for you when you're watering, give them a bit of moisture just up around the leaves here, and in the top of the trunk like that. Beautiful. And let that trickle down there. See that? Lovely stuff. Otherwise, pretty easy to look after. Sensational.
Okay, it's that time of the year again. You're starting to hand water the garden. And whether it's new plants being put into the garden or filling the watering can up, you've probably had happen what I've had happen. Leaky fittings, wasting water, getting you wet. It's just not right. Surely there's technology available today that has stopped this happening, right? Surely. Well, the good news is there really is. Holman have been incredibly good at reimagining how we use day-to-day products in the garden, reinventing them, and then, through innovation, creating improved versions. And there's no better example than this. This is the grip and lock technology. Now, there's all sorts of benefits with this one. Most importantly, the longer tail and sharper barb means that you will not have any leaks at all. There's no hose blow-offs. This is a great way to save water, and it lasts forever. There's this thing called a compression ring with super sharp teeth that delivers the ultimate join, hanging onto the hose, guaranteeing it'll never blow off, no matter what pressure you have at home. Most importantly, this means at the point of joining the tap or connecting the watering gun, there are no leaks. Now, the fittings come in plastic and brass, which is absolutely fantastic. The brass will last for years and years. And then there's the multifunction gun. Multifunction hose guns with thumb control deliver the best possible watering experience. They have the key function settings, the rose for soft watering, the jet for jetting, the flat spray for flat spraying, and the mister, yes, you know where this is going, right? But the bubble function, well, that's something completely unique to Holman. In fact, they put a patent on it, the first in the world to bubble. Probably my favourite innovation that comes with this gun of all is one that affects us all, whether it be cold water freezing your joints and stopping you being able to turn the gun on and off, or if you've got arthritis in your fingers and they don't move too well. It's this simple little thumb control. It's just a simple push-up and you're on. And then, if you want to turn it off, pull it back, it's that easy. With the growing season on us and water being more precious than ever, make sure you fix any leaking fittings, replacing them with superior technology. Technology that saves water, distributes water appropriately to plants the way they need it, and with the ease of thumb control. If you want fittings that are really going to last, technology that really does make a difference when it comes to saving water, then you've got to check out this Holman grip and lock system. It really is fantastic. And whilst you're there, make sure you grab yourself one of these multifunction guns. They are absolutely brilliant. There is a function for every purpose in the garden. You know, watering has never been so much fun.
Normally when you think of rust, it's a concern, like a rusty old car or roof, and that's a nasty business that's going to cost you. But I've got something for you today, folks, that shows rust as a thing of beauty with its rich earthy tones. Now, when I say rich, I don't mean you have to be rich to get your hands on this gear. It's cost-effective, easy to install, and looks great in the garden. The White's OxyShield range is extensive and includes the garden edging, which goes in quite quickly and works for straight lines and curves due to its flexibility, and is ideal for lawns, garden beds and paths. They also do a range of these feature screen panels with these beautiful laser cut designs that are perfect for transforming a plain fence or wall, or just basically anywhere that you want a feature wall. There are a few new laser cut designs available: rainforest, galaxy spirals and leaves in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Installation is straightforward. Mark a level line and then measure the position of the screws to match the holes at the back of the frame. The frames hang much the same as a picture. Slide the panels carefully onto the screws, then check the level to ensure they all line up. A little bit of fine tuning with a block of timber and a hammer will ensure perfection. The rust effect occurs due to oxidization of a special coating on the surface of the metal. It won't rust all the way through. Now that process happens over time and it gradually gets darker due to the elements. Now if you want to speed that up, you can wipe the screens with a damp cloth or use the hose, get some water on there and see it transform right in front of your eyes, just like magic. I'm over here in Perth where my good mate Dazza and his team of professional landscapers have just put down this new lawn, and what a beautiful job it is. But it's interesting, over here, once the lawn's down, they run the plate compactor over it to keep the lawn in firm contact with the soil below. Where I am in Sydney, we use a water-filled roller. The point is, when you're laying new lawn, make sure, once it's down, that it's in firm contact with the soil below and keep the water up to it.
Now, planting up your verge has become one of the biggest trends around the neighbourhood these days, but you have to remember what a verge is for. This is all about a service corridor, making sure all the essential services that go onto your property can actually get through. Now, things like water connections, your stormwater, your sewerage, your electricity, that all have pathways through to your property. So knowing where they are and making sure that you don't go and damage them is very important. Now, if you plant yours up, just remember that occasionally these services are going to have to be accessed, which might mean that your precious garden gets dug up. And speaking of plantings, when you're thinking about putting in trees and shrubs, make sure you select them very carefully. The last thing you want them doing is damaging these vital services. It could cost an absolute packet. Dial Before You Dig will give you a map of where the main service cables and pipes are on your property. That means that you can then plant, but away from them. Plant selection is always important. Huge trees on your verge isn't always the best idea. If the tree's roots wrap around a pipe like this and break them, well, the roots have to be cut away, more than likely killing your favourite tree. It doesn't matter where you dig on your property, it's always vitally important you understand what's under your feet. It doesn't matter whether you're digging with a shovel or using the kanga to lay a trench down. You have to be very careful, and your first stop should always be this organisation, Dial Before You Dig. Give them a call a couple of days before you start the project. Now, if you're wondering what tree or shrub you should be planting out on the verge, there's a couple of great resources out there. Your local council is one, and of course service providers also have some sensational resources when it comes to planting plants out on the verge. Now, if you're worried about it costing you money to contact Dial Before You Dig, here's the good news. It's totally free. So the only thing it's going to cost you is a little bit of time in planning. But if you invest, it'll save you damaging any of the services that supply, well, what are essential services to your property. Most importantly, it'll just make sure that the job runs smoothly. So make sure you call this number. Make sure you dial before you dig.
We often think of greenhouses as warm, cosy places where plants can grow and thrive through the cooler months. But with the right setup, a greenhouse can provide perfect summer conditions too, so you can enjoy greenhouse growing all year round. Sprout-well greenhouses are designed so that your plants can flourish in every season, and they cater for gardeners living and growing in a whole range of different climates to ensure that you can continue to grow all of your favourite flowering and fruiting beauties throughout the hotter months. Now that we're moving into summer, our focus shifts to what we can do to keep the greenhouse cool and avoid heat stress on our plants. The first thing to think about is a shade system. So this greenhouse is fitted with an over-the-top shading system, which has proven to be more effective than an internal one. So this woven aluminium fabric is designed to reflect the sun, so the heat can't penetrate through the cloth and warm up the greenhouse. In fact, it reduces internal temperatures by up to 10 to 12 degrees. The other key factor is ventilation. Most greenhouses have the option of doors at each end that can be opened in hot weather. Greenhouses can also be fitted with louvers in the side walls, a misting system and manual and automated roof vents to help cool the space. So no matter how hot it gets, your Sprout-well greenhouse provides the perfect growing conditions for happy little plants.
Well, what a fabulous lemon tree here in this courtyard garden. And here's a few tips if you want to grow citrus. Full sun in a reliably moist, fertile, well-drained soil, and you can't go wrong. Just have a look at these fruits. Imagine the energy needed to put on fruit of that size and power and beauty over the whole tree. So don't back off with your nutrients and your fertilising in March and September. Here, we're in a raised bed, so drainage, we've got irrigation, we've got water, wash guard. The other thing with citrus, they generally don't like root competition, but I suspect the fibromyliads around the base aren't going to trouble it. Now, the lemons themselves, quite tart to taste, good in the fruit salads, but for me, slice it up and stick it in a nice stiff G&T.
Pruning our roses during winter is an absolute given. It encourages a lovely flush of growth and a beautiful display of flowers. But another prune during summer will keep our roses under control and give us an autumn flush that'll look spectacular. Stay tuned for more gardening tips after.
Greenhouses have been part of our gardening culture for centuries, so they provided a place for plant enthusiasts and collectors to grow rare and exotic plants from far-flung places around the world, and they gave them the flexibility to enjoy plants year-round. In the modern garden, a greenhouse still plays a similar role. It allows you to extend your growing season and grow a larger variety of plants than your climate would typically allow. Everything from cool climate veggies to tropical pineapples. So get a greenhouse and get growing.
Walking around the gardens here at Araluen, you see so many beautiful, healthy plants, and the way they've designed the beds is inspirational. Imagine the maintenance here. That's why they have a full-time staff taking care of business. Healthy plants start with a healthy soil, which is one of the priorities here. They use a combination of composting and spreading organic matter over the soil, as well as the right fertilisers and sea salt for all-round plant health and vigour. And they've given me permission to do some work of my own. Now, never mind permission. Wait till they get the invoice. Remember, ruck services don't come cheap. Just ask Trev. Sea salt liquid compost is new to the range and makes soil improvement work really easy. There's no shoveling, digging or lifting required. You just mix it in the watering can and start applying where it's needed, on the soil. The liquid compost helps break down clay soils, improving soil structure, aeration and drainage, and improves moisture and nutrient retention, particularly important in sandy soils. Fish have been used for centuries for soil improvements. These days, it comes as a highly concentrated emulsion that's packed full of nutrients that are released after being digested by beneficial microbes, earthworms, and beneficial fungi. And all of this activity is just fantastic for your soil. And don't be surprised if your swimming improves too. The wonders of sea salt have been used for decades now to improve overall plant health and reduce stresses from heat, drought, frost, pests and diseases. And it's excellent for root development. It's full of algenic compounds and nutrients, and it's great for feeding and encouraging beneficial microbes. That's in here too. The garden beds that I've worked on today here will be beside themselves when they get their laughing gear around this stuff. Now this works really well too when you're preparing new beds and also for existing beds like these, where you should apply every 3 to 6 months, and for really poor soils, apply every 2 weeks until the soil improves.
I just love this time of the year in the garden. It's just so beautiful, and there are so many things to see and do right now that'll leave you with just, well, a beautiful looking garden right through the summer months. The good news is we're back next week and we'll show you those things. We'll share some terrific tips, new plants, and some products that just make gardening success so much easier. I'm Trevor Cochran. We'll see you again soon for the Garden Gurus.